Yo! Welcome back to another episode of 1 billion break. 1 billion. 1 billion break. 1 billion. What? Listen, how y'all doing? I haven't seen you guys in a whole week. What? It's been a whole dog on week. Last week was Thanksgiving. This week is a new week. We're in October. What? We in December. Oh my God, where the time go? Come on in. Come on in. All right, so let's officially do the officially official. Welcome to another episode of 1 Billion Brave, Pink Diva Rockstar. I love you. Good morning. This show, I like, are y'all ready? Because this show is going places. We doing big things in a small world, is all I'm saying. We doing big things in a small world. So let's get into it. Episode 15. We in there like swimwear. We gotta do the house rules. First off, I'm Dōmo Jones. If y'all don't know, welcome. Let's get into the house rules. One, this show does not at all profess profanity. There's so many words in the dictionary. Like, let's use them, right? This show is about the disabled community, and not only just the disabled community, but bringing awareness, bringing positivity, bringing light, bringing understanding to who we are as a people, and also how we break the stigma beyond our condition, because that's how we get down with the get down. Also, we will be talking about JC. Who is JC? Jesus Christ. Why? Because without him, we are nothing. We, as in we, like, he's a main dog. So we're gonna give him all his credit. Last thing is, this show has no racism, no gender issues, no politics, none of that. Why? Because from all nations he made one. So we family, like, we cousins, we siblings. All right, so let's get into it. 5-minute moment. Are y'all ready for my 5-minute moment? Because I have like 1.5 or maybe 2 5-minute moments. So let's get into it real quick. Last week, I was in Michigan, right? So my dad wanted to celebrate another way of Thanksgiving. Just try to do something new. I have family in Michigan, and he has a house out there. So a few of us, my sister, my mom, my bonus mom, my dad, my brother, and a few of my family members on my dad's side who live out there, we celebrated Thanksgiving out in Michigan. Let me tell y'all, it was so doggone cold out there. It's a different type of weather. We was out there in like 33 degree. What are those numbers? What? 33-degree weather? My dad had those plans. Oh, we're about to go here. No, we're not. We're about to go in this house next to this heater under this blanket. That is what we're going to do. I don't know where you thought we were. We're not in California. I will look at everything out the window and take pictures. That's as far as we get. That's as far as we get in. We're not going outside unless we're going to the airport so I can come back to California. It snowed 2 days. It was a very beautiful. I will say that. Nevertheless, I ain't going out them doors. Dude, no, we ain't doing that. But I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to experience something different. I never been to Michigan, so it was totally different. It was like day and night. And it's so many trees, and it's so like fresh out there because it's just land and on top of land. But it was super dope, and I'm very excited that I was able to experience that for Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving? Was it good? Was it dope? A-Town, nice of you. I love you. So my second half of my 5-minute moment, right? Let me tell you what happened last week. The devil be trying to act like he gonna win, but he not, okay? So I'm on this like, oh, you know what? I just had all this Thanksgiving food. If I see another turkey slice, if I see another stuffing, if I see another sweet potato pie, I'm going to lose it, right? So I was like, let me get on my vegan kick. Oh, Vita Vita Vegemin, okay? So my stepmom and I were like, yo, let's go to this vegan joint. We about to get, let me order some, because I'm still allergic to like everything. So let me order some roasted corn with vegan butter. Sound bomb, right? Because me and corn, we like 2 peas in a pot or 2 corn pods in a pot, whatever. And as soon as I tasted it, throat closed. Like, throat closed. I said, what is happening? I'm over here trying to eat healthy. Like, and I can't even live. Why am I allergic to vegan butter? Why? Why does it have avocados in it and coconut oil? What? That's the main thing that I can't even eat. And y'all over here, I can't even eat healthy, man. I'm just gonna stick to my 5. I'm gonna stick to my 5 things, and that's it. That's all. That's my 5-minute moment. Y'all still pray for me, because your girl still drugs. We just trying to live. Is all I'm saying. That's it. That's all. So I know you guys are ready, because I am ready for my next guest. Episode 15. We doing it big. Are y'all ready for my next guest? It don't even matter, because I'm ready and y'all gotta be ready. Crystal Griffin, my girl. Let's go. What is up? Where she at? Let's go. Great Crystal in the house.
I'm here. We're in the house. We're in the
Hi,
house.
friend. How are you?
Good. How are you, dear?
Good.
Better now. You're breathing. That's a good thing.
I'm breathing. That's all that matters. I'm breathing. Listen, I'm so grateful that you are a guest on my show. You are episode 15.
I'm in the house, man. 15. That's the bomb right there.
That's a statement right there. I give you 1-5. You made a whole statement just by itself. 1-5. Okay, so for those that don't know, please introduce yourself and where are you at? Where are you living? Where are you living?
So hello, everybody. I'm Crystal Griffin. I'm out here in the Colorado Rockies waiting on my snow. I need some snow. I like my snow. But I was in Cali a couple of weeks ago. It was lovely. And, but heat does not work very well for me or my child. So
Got to be black. Got to be back. I love it. I love it. You can have the snow all day. I'm going to go and take this good old sunlight and this good old in the high 60s, upper 70s. Like keep me right there. Keep me right there. Yo, okay, so let's get into your story. You are a mother and you are a caregiver. Mm-hmm. So we want to know from a mother's perspective, what was that? First of all, tell us who your daughter is and tell us her diagnosis.
Might be a shorter list to tell you what she doesn't have.
I know, right?
Well, let's just give you the highlights. How about that? So,
yeah, let's see the highlights.
So this is my amazing daughter, Kat, and she is 16 going on 35 because what teenager actually needs to be their age, right? And at the ripe old age of 9 months, she experienced what you just experienced, but with her, it was a little piece of egg. And we had no idea what was happening. And so that led us on a food allergy journey that started many of her components. This was us in Cali, actually, just a couple of weeks ago. That was a super fun experience. And, even on that trip, we were still having to check food, trying to get ingredients. We bring a cooler full of food everywhere we go. We drove out from Colorado to California and had our cooler full of food on the way because you just never know where you're going to find food for them.
Right.
That led to a couple other diagnoses. When she was 6, we found out she had celiac, which basically any type of gluten tends to kill your villi that kind of progress things down the small intestine. explained a lot of things, but created a whole new lifestyle of what she could eat. I feel you when you're talking about the avocado and coconut. We've done, I think we're up to 11 what I call pantry clean outs, trying to get her healthy where she needs to be and go. And it is a challenge, you know.
Yeah.
And then we found out ADHD, and then we found out autism spectrum. She's Asperger, high functioning. And that was actually in Coronado, right there on that beach in Coronado in Cali. It's beautiful there. We just had such a great time out there and just enjoyed life a little bit. Because when you deal with all this all the time, you got to make the time to relax in the best way you can. You do.
So true.
And
so true.
You know, one thing that I did for myself on that trip, because as a caregiver, there's really rarely respite, right? And so when you take these trips, upgrade yourself.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
If you fly and you can really afford first class, just treat yourself.
Yeah.
If you can get the better hotel room with the bigger perks, just do it. Because the fact is, you're going to come back to your life and it's going to be challenging full time. And when you do get the opportunity to quote unquote escape the norm, even though the norm does follow you on the trips, as it did you, right? Still follows you, but you can take advantage of those opportunities to just be, you know, and as a caregiver, it's a challenge. And so that's just a couple of her diagnoses. She had the big CV, and we did not know. It was a very super mild case before it had a name, December 2019. But then she had some major health issues come up in 2020 afterwards that we did not know were related as long haul symptoms. And so now we're challenged with those. And a lot of people don't know that dysautonomia and POTS, the regulation of your temperature, really can cause a lot of issues from having CV, even as a mild case, which is why we are now probably going to have to make some lifelong decisions not to live in the South, not to live in heat, not to live in places where the temperature has big extreme levels, you know, things that you just never thought would enter your world is now there.
Right. So how was it for you as a mom seeing, I mean, because your daughter has experienced so many, we're going to say limitations. We're not going to say complications. We're going to say limitations. So how is it as a mom, from a mother's perspective, seeing your child? Is this your only child?
She is. She's a literally living miracle. I was not supposed to be able to get pregnant, and God healed
even that right there, right? So how is it? Okay, so from that perspective of knowing that your child wasn't even supposed to be here, and then having to deal with the severity of all the things that you have to keep up with, or kind of, I guess, neglect. You got to be so careful with. How is that as a mom dealing with that every day, seeing your child like, I'm tapped out, mom, like I can't do it. I can't do it.
I would like to tap out sometimes.
Really?
I mean, in reality, it's 24/7. For example, 2 weeks ago, she is cooking her dinner in our house, which is safe. We don't have food in here that she can't eat. Like, we are very diligent about this. And she had food and was like, I'm really cold all of a sudden. I'm going to go take a shower. Okay. So the cold thing is her body dysregulation from the dysautonomia. So we're used to that. She has Raynaud's now as well. And so she goes to get the shower, and she comes out of the shower. She is not a person to parade around in her birthday suit, but she comes out in her birthday suit, and I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, Mom, look at my skin. And her skin was pitted from head to toe. Like, I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, what is that? I don't know, Mom. I'm like, oh, yeah, me either. So that's new. And then it led to an ER visit. And come to find out, she had whole body hives. And the pitting in the body, and this might be helpful for some people who are out there, the pitting is where the hole is the normal skin and the swelling has come up around it that has caused the divot. And it was inflammation within her whole body. We have no idea why. Doctor can't tell us why.
What?
She's eaten all the food that she ate that night before. There was nothing new. The only thing that we can figure out is the lettuce. We had Butterbur lettuce with like the roots on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from a brand that we didn't normally buy because for whatever reason, our local grocery store had changed brands, right? But we always wash it off. We always do our little thing. The only thing that we can figure out is there was something on the lettuce.
And that stemmed from...
That's all we can figure out. Because everything else was like sour cream we had already started, butter we had already started, pierogi she's eaten before, like all of it. We have no idea. And so, at 1 o'clock in the morning when I got back that night, I kind of had a little meltdown.
Yeah.
I had a very long Facebook post of things that I never expected in my life.
Right.
And as a caregiver, as a mom who had been praying for so when I was in the 6th grade, I remember walking to school one day and going, okay, God, I don't need to be a mom. Let's just jump straight to grandma. He's like, it's not quite the way it works.
Right.
Like, but you could make it that way. Like,
yeah,
let's have more fun. They eat a lot more ice cream. Like, let's just go straight
more free. Right.
They seem to have money coming out of their ears. Like, let's just do it, right? And so then when I got married to my ex and we were trying to have a kid for 10 years and couldn't make it happen. And so I had these tests done that showed both of my fallopian tubes were totally blocked, like with scar tissue from a car accident I had shortly after we got married. It was not going to happen. Like there was no way it was going to happen. So we had gone through 2 adoption processes that failed, is what I called them. We have 2 other kiddos out there that we often, but still couldn't have one of our own. And I'm like, okay, God, you told me that this was going to happen, right?
Right.
And so what's going on? And so no joke. So we were teaching a class at the time and the husbands in the class offered to pray over me. And so I'm like, sure, I'll take it, which I thought was really interesting that the men were willing to pray over me and not the women. I thought that was kind of fun. And so the next week I went to go see the person in the world who started the first test tube baby. He's in older than dirt. That man was old. And so like old. And I'm like, okay, are you like creating the baby from dirt? Like
right. How?
Like, I'm chicken. Right. So I had that initial test, both tubes blocked, had these guys pray over me with their wives, and then I went the next week to this test. And this guy, and so he does this other test, and so he shoots some air into certain places and then leaves the room. I'm like, what the heck was that about? And all of a sudden I get this like excruciating pain under my shoulder blade. I'm like, what the heck? I'm dying.
Right.
Like, I think this is a heart attack or something. Like, don't you think that like it starts here and goes down the arm? Like, what did he just do to me? So he comes back in like 5 minutes and he goes, oh, I'm like, what is this? And he goes, yeah, you're open. Your tubes are fine. Go home and get pregnant. I went, wait, what?
Is that fast?
And it was because those guys had prayed over me.
Wow.
The test that he did nothing but see if they were open.
Right.
And so 6 months later, I was pregnant.
Wow.
And that was a total fluke of finding out. And so everything about her is a miracle. And
yeah.
To your original question, she and I talk a lot about this. Like, Mom, if I was a miracle, then why do I have this many issues? Like, is this going to be forever? What does this look like? Right. We've had to walk through situations where she does feel like her health issues are her identity.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably can understand part of that.
Definitely so.
And I just want to encourage you as I tell her, it's not your identity.
Yeah.
What you're walking through has nothing to do with your worth. You are a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
You are royalty. And you have the courage of a lion because of what you're walking through.
Yeah.
And we don't always understand the whys. We don't. Do I believe that God could heal my daughter, heal you, heal other people that I see on the street in a heartbeat? In a heartbeat. in a second. Not a joke in my mind that he could do it. I've been physically healed personally. To have her, I was physically healed.
Right.
Why it's not happening? I am not God. I don't have those options and ideas, and I wish I did.
Right.
I wish I could offer a different type of hope to understanding that it wouldn't always be this way. But what I do know is my kiddo has some gifts and abilities that only she can share with the world.
Right.
Just like you.
Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing, is that although from the outside it looks like we're dealing with so much, it builds our story and it builds our character. Like your daughter and people in the disabled community, we're such fighters. We're so resilient. We're so resilient to nonchalant things that other people may not even be able to handle, because we fight to live every day. And even as a caregiver, you have I acknowledge caregivers so much, and I have such a compassion for caregivers, not only because my mom is one, but I just see how selfless they are. And then especially you have a child that has a disability or a limitation, you're automatically in that role. I mean, because as a mom, you're automatically like a caregiver, because that's just what moms do. My mom is still, I'll be 95 years old and she's gonna be like, I'm still the mom. You know, that's just moms. That's just what they do. But the added of your child having a limitation or a disability, that's adding on to the job that you have, that you didn't even sign up for. So I have such a big heart for someone that is a caregiver and that is a mom. So as a mom that's a caregiver, what are some things that you do that kind of give you that release, that kind of give you that, okay, I need some time, just, okay, let me reset a little bit?
I have to hold her bedroom time, like what time she goes to bed, as a boundary. And she is
really
steady trying to push it. She's like,
but get that 16, yeah.
I can go to bed at 10, 11 o'clock. Yes. And then when your alarm goes off at 7:30 in the morning, we know better. So
right.
No.
right.
Because that's when I really can. So I work from home on purpose, because there's no possible way to hold a 9-to-5 job, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish the court systems understood that, but that's a whole other story for another day. Anyways, so like literally taking care of somebody who has medical complexities is a full-time job.
It is.
And the courts do not understand that when you're walking through divorces and things like that. Because they're like, oh no, but she goes to work. She goes to school, so you got plenty of time. Really? Did you miss the fact that she goes to school late, or I pick her up early because she has all these doctor's appointments? Like,
right.
You know,
or she can't even go to school at all because she has doctor's appointments or a flare up or something.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, one of the things that I do is I really try to get her in her room, into bed, one, for her health, but then two, because that's kind of when my downtime starts. Because most of the time I'm a night owl. And so I get my work done between about 9:30 and 1 a.m. Because during the day I'm working with insurance companies and making doctor's appointments and, facilitating some of those, and then still meeting with other clients. And, it's a balancing act a lot. Another one for her, because of some symptoms that she's had, she cannot drive.
Okay.
So she can't get her driver's license. So I get to still play chauffeur for long term. So now we're looking into, is there some public access transportation options that she falls under now for disabilities? Yeah. And then even then, because of her spectrum, Asperger's, to know a sense of danger sometimes and not make friends with every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Right.
She's on the social butterfly end of the spectrum. And so it's there's challenges all the way around.
Right.
So every other weekend she's with her dad, which has just started back.
Yeah.
So I typically work on those weekends, but I'm finding that I can't keep doing that, right?
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
caregiver, I've got to take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to sleep, I can sleep. If I need to,
Yeah. That's very important.
yeah, and I will tell you from a caregiver perspective, and a lot of people don't realize this, we don't sleep.
Yeah.
We cat nap.
That is so true. Because
Yeah.
I hear my mom sometimes 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning coming in my room, and I was like, what? And she just wants to check to see if I'm breathing. You know, just as simple things as that. But yeah, you guys don't sleep.
We
Is
don't.
it because you guys always is it because first of all, your job is a 24/7 job, or is it because you want to make sure that they're okay?
I think those two plus the third option of making sure you are awake enough to hear their call for help.
Okay.
So we have 3 Alexas. I have an 1,800 square foot townhome. Majority of it is on the bottom floor, which she now used to have her bedroom and her bathroom down there, but last June of 2020, she lost her legs, feeling those legs. So we had to move her upstairs. So we have my bedroom. She took over my office, and then she has her bedroom there. So it's very small in conversion size of where we get to, but even in that upstairs area, we have 3 Alexas.
Really?
We use as an intercom, one in my bedroom, one in her bedroom, one in the kitchen. And so, you know, those are on all the time. And so if I am in a situation, I have to take melatonin every night so I can at least get 4 hours, right, of decent sleep. So I do that. And I do that after I've checked on her. So usually I go to bed like, 12 to 1. I check on her, make sure she's good, kiss her good night, tell her I love her. Most of all, Jesus loves her. And then I go take my melatonin and I go to bed for 4 hours, right?
Right.
And then legitimately after about 4 hours, my body begins to wake back up, just listening, just hearing. So I'm catnapping between 4 and 7 when I get up. And always listening for the Alexa, and there's a health toll on caregivers as well, and that's something for people to realize, because we're not getting the adequate sleep that we need.
Right.
I will make sure she has what she needs over what I need in any given moment, especially with food and food allergies, and you understand all those things.
Right. Right.
And then, we don't get to just take off on a trip.
Yeah.
And then even when we go on trips with our loved ones, which we love you dearly. We love you.
Right.
We love, like this year alone, my daughter and I drove out to my parents to the East Coast, and that was 16 states, 2,500 miles. And then I just drove out to California. So we've gone coast to coast this year in 6 months.
Really? Literally.
And some things that I learned, along the way, and things that you have to prepare for and plan. And as a caregiver, even a trip can be extremely stressful, even if you're quote unquote going on vacation. Nope.
Oh my gosh. So true.
Got out to Virginia. God bless her. She interacted with the heat in a not so great way. And she started seizing, and had to take her to a hospital.
Oh gosh.
And so, we're out in the middle of nowhere. And so this is a great example for your people too, because this is something I did not even realize or know. We're in Colorado. We have a children's hospital here. There's a children's hospital in Cincinnati. There's a children's hospital in Memphis. There's a children's hospital in Florida. There's a children's hospital in Virginia. And my thought is, oh, it's a children's hospital. We should go there. They can pull her record.
Right.
Yeah, no. They do not talk to each other.
At all.
Nope.
So you had to go through the rundown of all.
And so we get there, and I'm like, what do you mean you can't pull her record? You're a children's hospital. Oh, well, think of us more like a franchise. We have our own set of records. You guys need to solve that issue.
Okay. That's not helping us.
I just want to make that call out to Children's Hospital. You guys need to talk to each other, because you are making our lives as the caregivers insane.
Hard. Become a family. Don't become a franchise. Become a family.
that was crazy to me that they could not talk to
Wow.
each other. And so thank goodness I always carry what I call the cheat sheet, the medical cheat sheet.
Yeah.
I have one for myself as well. And I think everybody should have those.
Mm-hmm.
But on that cheat sheet gives, the rundown of all her diagnoses, the short version, the phone numbers to get her records from wherever. So that came in super handy. And then one thing that's really helpful that we stumbled upon probably 4 or 5 months ago on Amazon is there's a tag with a QR code.
Mm-hmm.
And so $30, we got like 3 of these tags. And we have one on her backpack that she always has to carry for the EpiPen,
Mm-hmm.
one on her school backpack, and then one, I forgot where the third one goes. But we entered in all her medical data into there. And so then anywhere we go, they just have to scan that QR code and they can pull
And
up
it'll
all her
pop
medical
up.
history.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, it's a fantastic
I'm gonna get that myself.
fantastic tool. Yeah, because legitimately, as she's growing up and you're older, you're an adult, you're out on your own,
Right.
and let's just say exactly what happened to you in Michigan. Your stepmom doesn't know everything because she's not with you.
Exactly. My
Right?
dad doesn't even know everything.
Right. So if you have that QR code and
Yeah.
you've had that conversation with them, if something happens to me, you scan
Just
this,
say it.
you
Yep.
call 911, you show
Mhm.
them this to the ambulance. They then have all the medical history that they need.
Yeah.
And that really has been a weight lifter off of me, to be honest, as a caregiver, because she just started her new job last night.
Come
So
on, no job.
she did. She's working at a local retail store, and that has been an experience because a poor girl. She goes to orientation, and then she had that allergic reaction I just described to you the
Yeah,
night
yeah.
before the day she starts orientation. So she has a face shield on, and they want masks on. So then they go, okay, we're going to send you home for the next week. We got to get this straight with HR that you can wear the face shield.
Yeah, yeah.
And she loses her hours for that week. So then she's supposed to go back the next week. The poor girl gets a sinus infection and it's viral, so she can't take antibiotics for it.
Listen, it ain't no joke.
It's not. I mean,
this is stuff we deal with.
Oh my gosh. But it allowed me this other opportunity to have this entrepreneur conversation with her again to say, kiddo,
Yeah.
I want you to have the experience of the boss yelling at you. I could do
Nevertheless,
it's not the same.
Nevertheless, right.
We need to have a conversation around what your real life looks
Yeah,
like.
like longevity speaking, you're gonna have to kind of be your own boss, because that's so true. It's so true. Like, I feel like us as the disabled community, and I also think caregivers as well, I think we're built, like, the way our lives are, the pop-ups, the random moments, the spare, like, whatever the case may be, we have to be on guard so much. We can't have like a block 9 to 5. Like, it's impossible, because no one will really understand if you ain't been there, if you haven't dealt with it, if you haven't seen it. You don't really understand if we just say it. Like, I have a sinus infection, I had an allergic reaction, I gotta be rushed to the hospital. They'd be like, okay, well, come back and clock in. It's not that easy. They don't get it. We entrepreneurs, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all. Tell your daughter I said entrepreneur. Please, thank you.
Well, you know how cool this is? So when I ran Medical Mom Warriors, when we first met, way back then, so it was 2 years ago, God dropped in my heart this idea to help families create a business from the hospital room. Right. And so that's where I'm working right now. So I'm helping these families create online businesses so they can serve their family well in the entrepreneur field. They have the coaching and the tools and the resources that they need to be successful in the middle of the chaos, right? Because it just is what it is.
Yes. Please shout out your business, because I think Medical Mom Warriors is like amazing, and it's so needed. It's so needed right now. Especially with the awareness now of people having allergies, people having disabilities, and the system out there is not really accommodating. Although they say they are, they're not really accommodating. So please shout out what you do, how they can find you, because I think people need to know.
Well, the short version, go to kcrystalgriffin.com. Set up a call with me. Let's see where you are. Let's see where your family is. Let's see what your business idea is. If you already have a business and you just want to scale it to online, we can have that conversation as well. And if you want to share really what your walk has been with other people, I've got opportunities to do that as well in what's called challenges, which are virtual events, because we do need to be able to create a better community for the medically complex.
Yeah.
And that is such a wide arena of, so my kid, legitimately, you would interact with her and not have a clue she's on the spectrum. But over here, you've got kids nonverbal, but savants, like they can have a conversation in any modality. They just can't do it verbally. Right. But we tend to look at those with nonverbal skills and they're like, oh, well, they don't really have the intelligence there. I disagree with that completely.
Yeah, definitely so.
Because I think it's just a matter of we haven't found the right communication with them so they can unleash all that they know, they hear, they see, they interact with, they connect with, and we just haven't found the right modality to create that connection yet.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's just so important that we really stop making assumptions about people with disabilities, because you really have no idea.
You don't.
No idea.
And I think the beautiful thing is with you, because you've dealt with it, one, and you have a child that is dealing with something all the time. So you have to, as you're growing, you're learning. Like literally, I have an example that I birthed and I got to deal with every day. So there probably isn't too many things that can come your way that you don't know something about. And I think that's dope, because if someone comes to you with a challenge, with a question, with I just don't know, you can help because you've been there. Like you got the experience. And people don't want to know what you know. They want to know what you've been through. They want to like, I can relate to you if we have some type of common ground, not just you reading a book.
Absolutely.
And I think that's super dope. I really love medical mamas. I've been seeing you do your thing. I've been seeing you do your thing.
We have a great time in there because, creating that community also allows us as caregivers. Yes, we need a place to vent, but, the key is not to stay in the venting mode. It's to say, okay, now it's out. I've had my pressure relief valve, right? And it's out there. What do we do with it?
Right. What are we doing
How
next?
do we use it? What do we learn from it?
Right.
And, especially for our kiddos who are, near and dear to my heart, that you guys go through some really hard things. And I can identify with some of them because I had a TBI 30-something years ago. So I get the doctor's appointments. 4 years of my life, I lived in doctor's appointments. And so I get that concept. But I didn't have it as a teenager. I didn't have it my whole life. I had what I would call a normal life. Yeah. Now, even I wasn't supposed to be here. My parents had like 9 pregnancies, and 2 were, one was a stillborn, but he would have had FINS, and he would have had, Down syndrome and a variety of other things. And then my sister, who was born after me, who lived 3 days, would have had the same thing. And then I have another sister who actually is living, and she and me, like, we look normal. Like we really don't, we had normal childhoods. Yeah. Now, I have some other things going on. I break a lot of bones. I have something called osteogenesis imperfecta. So, I don't have the shatter version where you touch a finger and it breaks. Thank you, God. I don't have that.
Right. God, good.
But, I can understand some, right, of having to walk through those own health challenges. But man, as a teenager, as growing up and having constant health issues, when do they end? Yeah. And how do you get through it? And how do you catch the vision and the courage to say, okay, if this is my life in this moment, because again, I think God can heal at any time, but if this is my life in this moment, what do you want me to do with this, God? How do I create kingdom impact moving forward from this place?
Right.
And as a teenager, the reality is they don't want to think like that,
Yeah.
and so it's harder. It's more challenging,
Yeah.
and I think it'd be hard pressed to find a caregiver who is so frustrated by their moments that they don't love their child, because I think we love more at times than the average parent.
Yeah.
And that's not to put anyone down. I think we have to. I think we have to find those places within us that when we are out and down, like I got CV and I do not remember a week of my life at all. And fortunately she was old enough to be able to kind of self-serve, and I threatened her life if she went out of the house. That was the best I could do in that moment.
Right, that was it. That's all I got.
That's it. That's all I could do, but we have to get through. But even in those sick moments, you wake up, you're lucid for about 2 seconds. You try to get to the bathroom, you can't breathe, and you're just like,
it's like
did you
reality
eat?
hits, right?
Like, is this your vitamins? Are you drinking water? Stay in your room away from me.
That's all you got. I just got questions. I just got to see if you did, because can't do nothing right now.
It's hard. I would love to see some opportunities come about for caregivers. I actually am working with 3 or 4 clients that are creating some caregiving opportunities, which I'm super excited about. And because they see the need as well. And there's some more focus for older parents, generational components versus the kids, but it's so needed. It is just long-term care is needed. I have to have, in that moment that I had CV, they thought I had the clots, and I literally was on the phone with my parents saying goodbye because I had no idea. Wow. And it really brings an awakening to your spirit to go, who's going to take care of my kid?
Yeah.
Long term.
Right.
And not just a person, but somebody who truly understands.
And even if they don't understand, they're willing to learn.
Yes, I would agree with that. And
they're willing to learn.
Because it is 24/7.
Right.
And, we have some conversations around what does long-term life for her look like? And we supply tools and resources and training to help her be as successful as she can be independently. And as independently as she can be.
Right.
So, like, we're right now in the process of getting a service dog. By the way, why the heck do service dogs cost $20,000?
You know what? I don't get that.
Why does insulin cost what it does? I don't understand these issues. Like, I know we're not supposed to have some of those conversations here, but
still, enough is enough. We gotta stand our ground. Questions. I need answers.
I don't understand why those things that are literally life and death to people cost what they do. I don't. You've got volume to it. Like, you will still make your millions and millions and billions because of the volume. Why do you need to charge that?
Just that alone.
Somebody last night I was talking to, and her dad needs a pill that costs $12,000 a month. And if he doesn't have that pill, he will die.
That is crazy.
Why? Why does that pill need to be $12,000?
One pill.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
We got questions and we need answers. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because y'all already know how I get down. Enough is enough. Putting our foot down. Sick of it.
Agree.
Thank you, K Crystal, so much for being a guest on the show. I definitely appreciate it. You gave so much insight on what a caregiver looks like, but also you also gave insight on there are resources out there. Example, Medical Mom Warriors. That's all I'm going to say. There are resources out there to help you live and to help you grow beyond what you deal with. You don't got to stay there. Yeah, we deal with it, but you don't got to stay there. And I'm always grateful. We're already friends for life. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. And I'm glad to call you friend. I'm so glad to call you friend. Even though you like the cold, like the hot, but it's okay because opposites attract. You feel me? Opposites attract. You guys, please look up Medical Mom Warriors. Follow K Crystal Griffin in everything that she does. IG, Facebook, all that jazz, everything, all things. Okay, Crystal, listen. Are you ready for the question?
Uh-oh. I forgot you were going to ask me the
Are you?
question. I don't know. It was a doozy last time. All right, bring it. I'm ready.
Are you ready for the? Okay, so if you can live in an era, just one era, what era would you live in? And you got to just like that for 10 years.
Oh, just 10 years?
Just
I only
10
get 10
years.
years?
Every day, though, for 10 years. What era?
10 years. I actually think now.
Really?
I do. And
Okay.
I think the resources and the imagination that happens right now is just phenomenal. And I think we're just really pushing boundaries to get new answers and to get new technologies. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for learning if people are willing to think outside the box, you know, and willing to maybe not listen to all the rules and regulations all the time.
Right. Break the stigma a little bit. It's just
I'm not telling you to be a rule breaker, but I think you should question some of the rules. I think
before you get down with it, just ask questions, you know?
Think for yourself. That's important. Think for yourself.
I love it. So that's where it is. 20th century or 21st, actually. We're in 21st.
21st, yeah. Almost 22nd.
I know, right? Almost 22nd. Yo, thank you again so much. I definitely appreciate it. I love you always. First Lady Bailey gonna put you in the back. We're gonna end the show. We're gonna me out this piece. I love you.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. And I look forward to connecting again.
Yes, ma'am.